Hey friends, want to wish you a meaningful 9/11. I think the fact that we had two prominent shootings yesterday reminds us of, as I shared on Elephant, or my staff shared, that we all need to peace harder. We need to love harder. And that isn't some airy-fairy love and light kind of statement. Peace is hard. You know, how they created peace between Ireland and the UK after generations of fighting is hard. What we're seeing in Palestine with Israel is intractable and painful, and the suffering and the evil that we are willing to cause other families and children on behalf of our self-righteousness is hard, it's solid. So peace harder, love harder. These aren't airy-fairy love and light. These are the toughest things in the world. And I'm getting some comments based on my post on Elephant Journal yesterday around Charlie Kirk and the deplorable act of murdering him. That I'm getting a lot of comments. I don't know if like all the MAGA folks got together real quick and chose the word disgusting, but I'm getting a lot of comments that say, you know, my post is disgusting. Maybe I'm blind, but you know, Charlie Kirk was not a force for peace. He was not a force for love. He was a force for the opposite. He advocated for gun lack of reform, which is continuing to make the U.S., you know, up here in terms of violence, where every other country is down here. There's just common sense gun reform that, you know, hunters and people who love guns can support and generally do. And we have a post about that called The Solution to Gun Violence. And it lists all the common sense reforms. They include very, very common sense steps, which would prevent criminals from getting guns, which would prevent, you know, other countries, you know, what do you call them? Cartels from getting guns. The cartels that, you know, Trump loves to vilify and hate on. We could be squeezing the gun supply for a lot of bad people if we all got together, closed some loopholes, had some mental health care, which, you know, MAG always says thoughts, prayers, and it's a mental health thing, not a gun thing. Well, then let's support mental health care for all. You know, anyway, we've talked about this for a million years, so I don't think anything I'm going to say is going to get through to this solid, intractable, kind of hateful approach that just says, well, school children are going to die. Charlie Kirk literally has a quote that I hope most people have seen. And there's a video. It's not me saying this. And I don't think it's disgusting of me to repeat what he said and advocated for. I think what he advocated for was harmful in many ways. I don't think he was a force for peace. He was a force for division. He was making money off of creating division. At Elephant, you know, we have 17 listeners right now. We're doing the boring work of advocating for, on the one hand, love and peace, but on the other hand, the real stuff, love and peace, not, let's all get together and kumbaya. But on the other hand, let's not pretend Charlie Kirk was a wonderful person. He wasn't. And at the same time, as Kamala has posted, as Tim has posted, as pretty much as Obama has posted, every Democrat, every good human being, which hopefully includes MAGA, we should, whenever there's violence, we should remind each other that violence is not the way. Political violence is never appropriate. I mean, if you want to talk about Hitler or something, but it's never appropriate in a democracy. So let's protect democracy, what does that mean? Okay, you can call us a constitutional republic or whatever you want, but, you know, let's advocate for basic human rights. And one of those rights should be that school children can go to school and feel safe, that you and I can go to farmers market and feel safe. So Elephant is advocating for the real peace and love, but we're also advocating for being honest. I'm not going to pretend Charlie Kirk was MLK. He wasn't. He was not a great person. But that doesn't mean he should be killed. That's putting poison on poison. It's worse. The only way we heal is to begin to engage in dialogue and to, you know, hug it out. And to have tough conversations. And right now, social media, including Instagram, Meta, is encouraging extremism. I have 21 listeners talking about sort of, I hope, a mature, loving take on all this. Meanwhile, people like Charlie Kirk would have 21,000 listeners talking about how Democrats are evil, or, if there's some extremists on the left, talking about how MAGA is evil. Well, I do think it's evil to take away people's rights, put them in prison without due process, take over the SCOTUS, without regard for norms. Obama could have put someone in Supreme Court, etc. It's a long list. I don't think there's a lot of unhealthy actions going on, but basically we all need to get a little more Mr. Rogers about it. We need to start treating each other with respect and seeing each other's basic goodness. So no, I don't think posting that Charlie Kirk was not a good person and that at the same time we never wish political violence on him or anyone is disgusting. If I said anything truly disgusting, I'm more than happy to be accountable and to apologize for that. But I do want to say that political violence is never appropriate. That gun reform that protects the Second Amendment rights is not only doable, but has been done in many countries like Australia around the world. That the NRA, that fixed interest, money, Trump, etc., are against any of that reform. That Kirk deserves to be able to spew awful things on a campus and be safe. But that, we should be putting equal, if not far more attention on the school shooting that happened yesterday, just a couple miles from my house. 3 children were killed. 3 children. What about those families? Bereft, aggrieved, traumatized forever. I mean, I hope they can heal and not be traumatized forever, but wow. So, do we want to change for the better and be safer? Do we want our children to be safer? When we go to the movie theater, we should feel safe. All these places we should feel safe. And the answer to not feeling safe is not more guns. The answer is to look at what's worked in every country on earth and to follow some of these common sense reforms. There are experts. I'm not an expert. You're probably not an expert. There are experts on this. And I think it's okay to respect experts in their wisdom. So I'll respond to a couple comments. Thank you for this. When I lived in Germany in the late 80s, the cover of International Newsweek had only a number on the cover, 11,480. This number referred to deaths by gun in the U.S. that year. Yeah, I think it's taken over as the leading cause of death for children in the U.S., not in any other country. Solly Bear, thank you. A couple tags. So yeah, we're here for the hard dialogue. We're here for some basic respect, but we're not here to good vibes only, pretend Kirk was some beautiful martyr. He wasn't. Was he fundamentally bad or evil? I don't think so. Was he doing harmful stuff with his mouth? Yeah, I think so. So on a day like today, 9/11, let's honor the real peace. And the real peace is hard work with love, seeing the good in one another. And, as some of those hats say, make racism unsafe again or something like that, or uncool again. We need to have the norms of society, the good ones, the healthy ones, be about admitting that racism exists, studying history and learning from it, and not perpetuating some myth that the U.S. was always perfect, which it wasn't. That I love America, I am American, and part of that love, like any mature relationship, is admitting the problems and how we can heal and improve out of those problems. And the only way you can do it, as the library says over here at CU, is he who knows only his generation remains forever a child. I think that's the quote. So we need to know all the generations and all the hard lessons in there, and then we can grow up and in a good way and create a society that is safe for children. Anyway, I feel like everyone knows all this, but in our dialogue online, we forget this and we just get me versus you. Let's yell at each other louder and then maybe we'll win. And then if no one wins, maybe we'll commit horrendous acts of violence. Violence is not helpful. Violence is the problem that you're trying to cure, and you can't cure violence with violence. Aggression, as they say in Buddhism, just creates further aggression. So hopefully this is a wake-up call in a good way. I don't think it will be, but hopefully we can come back to, okay, those who are preaching division and how gun violence is fine, we have to put up with it to protect Second Amendment rights, which isn't true. We can reform when there are 1 million, car accident deaths. We made it a law that you had to have a seatbelt. We have an article on that. If guns were treated like cars, we can have licensing, we can have testing, we can have a delay period before you get the gun. There's a lot we can do, and that's in our article on Elephant Journal right now, Solution to Gun Violence. So look it up if so inspired. Taryn, you're spot on. People who are outraged by this but not outraged by school teachers and children are hypocrites. Yeah, I mean, let's lead with caring about our children, our teachers, our safe spaces, or what should be safe spaces in the U.S. And that's what creates a truly rich person, not being a billionaire, but living in a society that feels safe. And safe is the ground for fun. Once things are safe, businesses can succeed, economies can grow. People can have fun in community and not just isolate in their little underground bunker. I mean, Mark with his billions is never going to have that much fun in his underground bunker in Hawaii. News at 11, the fun and beauty of Hawaii is being outside in the mountains, on the beaches, in community. Yeah, selective empathy, Laurel. To your point, I think Kirk has some quote saying empathy is awful and shouldn't be invested in. I forget what the quote is, but dissing empathy. Empathy is not a theory. It's not a liberal thing. It's a basic human quality of caring. If you see a puppy dog kicked by someone, your heart leaps out of its chest with immediate empathy. Empathy is just natural. It's pre-thought. We can bury empathy, but we can't pretend that empathy is not part of the human inheritance. It's basic to, it's primordial, it's basic to who we are. So let's invest in empathy, in tough conversations. Let's not repeat 9/11. Let's not hurt them. Let's not be hurt by them. Let's create real peace and love, and love is active love, as MLK said. It's not passive love. It's not spiritual bypassing kind of selfish love. Love is tough work. Love is open conversations, and I'm trying to practice that in my life. So if I was disgusting in my posts about Kirk, which I don't think I was, I do apologize. I'm happy to be wrong and apologize for that. But you can look at them. They were on Facebook, Elephant Journal. They were on Instagram, Elephant Journal. And I don't know. I felt like I was pretty clear that I don't think Kirk was a good person. And I think I was pretty clear that violence is not okay. And I still feel like that. And of course, I extend my empathy, which he said was not a good thing. Of course, I extend that to the school children, to the teachers, to Kirk's family, to everyone, which is so many of us around the world affected by America's lack of common sense gun reform that 80%, 90% of Americans support. So I guess that's my 9/11 message for all of us. Big love from Elephant Journal. And may we have real conversations and create more love and more peace.